Melania, thank you very much. That was truly a beautiful and heartfelt speech.
In a stunning twist that is Washington insiders scrambling and social media ablaze, RADIO shock jock Howard Stern just lobbed a nuclear truth bomb at former President Donald Trump. That's left the political world gasping. The once dynamic duo whose on-air chemistry made for some of radio's most jaw-dropping moments are now locked in a savage feud. That's exposing secrets the former president desperately wanted kept hidden. She must be terrific in bed. Trump once gushed about Melania on Stern's show in comments that are now coming back to haunt him. She wouldn't want me to say that, he added in what might be the understatement of the century. Sources close to Mar-a-Lago report that Trump is absolutely furious and pacing the halls after Stern's latest revelation, a bombshell so explosive about Melania that it could potentially rock the very foundations of Trump's carefully constructed public image. There was a time when Howard Stern and Donald Trump were the ultimate oddball duo of bizarre bromance that made Kanye and Elon look like a stable friendship. One was the self-proclaimed king of all media. The other was the self-proclaimed king of everything. Put them in the same room, and it was like throwing gasoline on a dumpster fire. Loud, chaotic, and strangely entertaining. Trump was hands down whenever you put him on the air. Now this is before he was running for president. He was an open book, Stern recently revealed. He would say anything, and say anything he did, from rating women on a 1 to 10 scale to making eyebrow-raising comments about his own daughter. She's a 10. Trump wasn't just a guest on Stern's show, he was practically the house pet. He'd drop in regularly throughout the 90s and early 2000s, tossing out wild, unfiltered thoughts with the energy of a man who truly believed microphones were his best friends. Stern, always the puppet master, would prod, poke, and dangle the most absurd topics in front of him, and Trump, eager to impress, desperate to be liked, would dive in headfirst, offering up takes so cringeworthy they made reality TV producers take notes. In his most shocking revelation yet, Stern hinted at what many have suspected, but few have dared to say out loud: Melania Trump has been completely checked out of her marriage for years. When Donald asked me to introduce him at the Republican convention, I said, "Donald, I can't. I'm voting for Hillary Clinton." Stern revealed in a bombshell interview. He was very upset with me. Then I was a bad guy. No longer had ratings. I wasn't funny. But the real fireworks came when Stern started discussing Melania's conspicuous absences and her infamous hand swats that have become viral sensations. According to insiders with direct knowledge of Stern's comments, the radio host suggested that Melania has been living a separate life for years, appearing only when absolutely necessary and with all the enthusiasm of someone waiting for a root canal. She's practically on airplane mode. One source close to Stern revealed exclusively to us, Howard knows things about their marriage that would make your hair stand on end, even Trump's. The internet is having a field day resurfacing clips of Trump's most jaw-dropping Stern appearances, and they are not aging well. In one particularly eyebrow-raising segment, Trump and Stern engaged in an uncomfortable exchange rating women, including Trump's own wife. "Let's see, Kim, ally." "I don't know," Trump pondered on air, before Stern interrupted. "Let's put Marla right up here." In another shocking moment, Stern asked to speak with Melania directly. "Let me talk to that broad in your bed," Stern requested. "I could almost have her talk to you," Trump replied, before calling Melania into the room. "You're so hot," Stern told her. "I see pictures of you. I can't believe it. You're a dream." These cringe-inducing exchanges are now being dissected across social media, with many questioning how Trump, who later courted evangelical voters with promises of family values, could have been so cavalier about his marriages and relationships. Sources close to the former First Lady claim she's been counting the days until she can permanently retreat from public life, having never wanted the spotlight in the first place. Every time she swats his hand away, it's like she's trying to shoo a persistent mosquito, said one former White House staffer who requested anonymity. The internet had theories. Was she planning her escape? Had she already left in spirit? Or was she just counting down the days until she could retire from being America's most reluctant First Lady? Melania's rare appearances during Trump's presidency became a national obsession, with body language experts analyzing her every move for signs of distress or discontent. Remember the infamous jacket with "I really don't care, do you?" emblazoned on the back? Many saw it as a not-so-subtle message about her true feelings. In true Trump fashion, the former president didn't take Stern's revelations lying down. He fired back with a blistering attack on Truth Social, calling Stern a washed-up hack, a loser, and wait for it, irrelevant. The same Howard Stern, who still commands millions of listeners and whose words just sent Trump into a full-blown tantrum. He was great at that time, and then he went woke. Trump fumed during a recent appearance. Since he's gone woke, his ratings have gone down the tubes, and he sort of went anti-Trump for a couple of reasons. But insiders say Trump's public fury is nothing compared to the private rage currently engulfing Mar-a-Lago. He's absolutely livid, revealed a source close to Trump's inner circle. When Howard talks, people listen. And that's driving Trump crazy. The Trump-Stern friendship didn't just fade, it crashed and burned with the force of a failed Trump casino. Stern, who had spent decades being an equal opportunity offender, suddenly found himself in a world where Trump wasn't just a punchline anymore. He was running for president, and worse, he won. The chaotic court jester of the Stern show was now aiming for the Oval Office, and suddenly it wasn't funny anymore. Stern flipped. Trump felt betrayed, and their once golden friendship built on bad jokes and oversized egos crumbled under the weight of real-world consequences. I couldn't endorse him, Stern admitted in a revealing interview. Donald and I disagree on a lot of things, and I had to say to Donald on the phone it was uncomfortable. I can't endorse you, and I haven't heard from him since. Trump, being Trump, did what he does best, threw a tantrum and burned the bridge to ash, because in Trump's world, loyalty is not a two-way street, it's a one-lane road paved in gold leading directly to his ego. During the radio heyday, nothing was off-limits between Trump and Stern. The former president freely discussed his dating preferences. 30 is like a perfect age. His views on STDs were his personal Vietnam, and even made comments about Princess Diana. She had the height, she had the beauty, she had the skin, she's crazy. But these are minor. In one particularly cringeworthy exchange about women with breast implants, Trump opined, "I saw a woman who was totally beautiful. She was angry that so many men were calling her. How dare they call me? It's terrible. They're all looking at my breasts." So she had a major breast reduction. The good news, nobody calls her anymore. These vintage clips are now making the rounds again, forcing many of Trump's supporters to reconcile the family values image he cultivated with the shock jock persona he embraced for decades on Stern's platform. As this feud escalates to nuclear proportions, one key player remains conspicuously silent: Melania Trump herself. The former First Lady, who once graced magazine covers worldwide, has retreated further from public view, making only carefully choreographed appearances when absolutely necessary. Her silence is deafening, noted one political analyst. Every time Trump gets into one of these public feuds, Melania seems to withdraw even further, almost as if she's trying to distance herself from the chaos. Body language experts who've analyzed recent footage of the couple note that Melania appears completely detached from her husband, maintaining physical distance whenever possible and rarely making eye contact during public events. It's like watching someone who's already checked out emotionally, explains celebrity body language expert Dr. Lillian Reynolds. She goes through the motions, but there's no genuine connection there anymore. Howard Stern isn't backing down. In fact, he seems to be just warming up. Sources close to the radio legend claim he's sitting on a treasure trove of unreleased Trump recordings that could make the already public clips look like child's play. Howard recorded everything, revealed a former producer who worked with Stern during the Trump years. There are hours of off-air conversations, pre-show chats, post-show discussions. If he decided to release it all, it would be absolutely devastating for Trump. While Stern hasn't explicitly threatened to release additional recordings, his recent willingness to discuss his former friends suggests that the gloves are truly off. And in the high-stakes world of celebrity feuds, having decades of potentially embarrassing audio is the ultimate trump card, pun intended. As this explosive feud continues to escalate, political insiders are divided on how it might impact Trump's standing with his base. While many of his most devoted followers are likely to dismiss Stern's revelations as yet another attack from the liberal media, moderate supporters might find the resurfaced clips difficult to reconcile with their image of the former president. This isn't coming from CNN or MSNBC, this is coming from someone who knew Trump intimately for decades, explained political strategist Marcus Williams. Stern was there in the room, recording everything with Trump's full knowledge and participation. That makes it much harder to dismiss as fake news. Social media metrics show that clips of Trump's Stern appearances are being shared at record rates, particularly among younger voters who may not have been familiar with this chapter of Trump's pre-political life. Meanwhile, at Mar-a-Lago, sources report that Team Trump is in full crisis mode, attempting to contain the damage and preparing additional responses to what they fear might be just the beginning of Stern's revenge tour. Throughout all this drama, one question continues to fascinate America. What exactly is going on with Donald and Melania Trump's marriage? From the infamous hand swats to her visible reluctance at public events, Melania has become an enigma wrapped in designer clothing, while she stands by Trump's side when protocol demands. Observers note that she appears to keep him at an emotional distance that grows more noticeable with each passing year. There was a time when Melania was just the beautiful model on Trump's arm, noted celebrity relationship expert Dr. Jennifer Coates. But as his political career took off, something changed. She became more withdrawn, more guarded, and frankly, more visibly unhappy. Stern's latest revelations seem to confirm what many have long suspected, that the Trump marriage is more complex and possibly more troubled than either party would care to admit publicly. As news of this explosive feud spreads, celebrities are rushing to take sides in what's quickly becoming the showdown of the century. Pro-Trump figures like Kid Rock and Roseanne Barr have publicly defended the former president, with Kid Rock calling Stern a sellout who forgot where he came from. Meanwhile, celebrities who've appeared on Stern's show over the years, including Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman, have backed the radio host, with Kimmel tweeting, "Nobody knows Trump better than Howard. If he's talking, I'm listening." Even Stern's former sidekick stuttering John Melendez weighed in, saying, "I was there for most of those Trump interviews, and believe me, what's public is just the tip of the iceberg." In a recent sit-down with a major news outlet, Stern reflected on his complicated history with Trump, one of the best guests ever. Why? Because as a radio guest, he says whatever pops into his mind, and he understands how to play that game. Stern acknowledged, "It doesn't appeal to everyone, but it appeals to enough people. That style appeals to enough people to turn them on." When asked about Trump as president, however, Stern's tone changed dramatically. "Listen, he asked me to endorse him, and I couldn't," Stern revealed. "Donald and I disagree on a lot of things, and I had to say to Donald on the phone it was uncomfortable. I can't endorse you, and I haven't heard from him since." That rejection appears to have been the final straw in a friendship that had already been strained by Trump's political ambitions and Stern's increasingly progressive views. Perhaps the most explosive aspect of Stern's revelations concerns what some insiders are calling Melania's exit strategy. According to sources familiar with the situation, the former First Lady has been meticulously planning for a future that might not include her husband. She's been negotiating a hush money deal of her own, suggested one source close to the Trump family, except instead of covering up a scandal, it's just a payment to keep her from openly sighing at him in public, while the exact details remain closely guarded. Speculation is running wild that Melania has secured financial arrangements that would allow her to maintain her lifestyle should she ever decide to make a clean break. Trump loves loyalty more than he loves naming things after himself, noted one former Trump Organization employee. The idea that his own wife might be one scandal away from pulling a full Cinderella escape is probably eating him alive as this feud continues to captivate the nation. It's worth reflecting on the strange legacy of the Trump-Stern relationship of friendship that once defined a certain brand of New York City excess, and now stands as a cautionary tale about the dangers of oversharing on live radio. For years, Trump used Stern's platform to craft his public image as a brash, successful playboy with no filter and no regrets. That persona served him well in the business world and in reality television, but has complicated his political ambitions, particularly among religious conservatives who have had to reconcile their support with his well-documented past. Stern, meanwhile, has undergone his own transformation, evolving from the self-proclaimed king of all media known for outrageous stunts to a more reflective, politically engaged figure willing to use his platform to challenge powerful people including his former friend. They were both using each other, observed one media analyst. Trump got publicity, Stern got ratings. The difference is that only one of them seems to have understood that fact. According to those closest to the situation, what Trump fears most isn't the embarrassment of his past comments resurfacing, it's the prospect of being abandoned by those he thought were loyal to him, including his own wife. Trump can handle criticism, he can handle people calling him names, but what he absolutely cannot tolerate is rejection, explained a former aide. And that's exactly what Stern represents, someone who was once in his inner circle who chose to walk away. As for Melania, her continued silence speaks volumes, leaving many to wonder whether she remains by Trump's side out of loyalty, obligation, or simply because she's waiting for the right moment to make her move. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: this feud isn't ending anytime soon, and Howard Stern seems to be just getting started. As one insider put it, Howard kept the receipts for decades, and now he's ready to cash them in. "I couldn't endorse him," Stern admitted in a revealing interview that has sent shockwaves through political circles. "Donald and I disagree on a lot of things, and I had to say to Donald on the phone it was uncomfortable. I can't endorse you, and I haven't heard from him since." That simple rejection, the audacity to say no to a man who surrounds himself with yes men, appears to have been the unforgivable sin that transformed a decades-long friendship into a bitter rivalry. For Trump, loyalty has always been a one-way street, and Stern's decision to back Hillary Clinton in 2016 was tantamount to treason. In the Trump universe, the radio host's subsequent criticism of Trump's presidency only twisted the knife deeper, leading to a complete breakdown in their once profitable relationship. Sources close to Trump reveal that he still seethes whenever Stern's name is mentioned, his face flushing with the same crimson hue as his signature ties. He takes it personally, one insider explained. This wasn't just a political disagreement, this was a betrayal by someone he considered a real friend. What makes this feud particularly delicious for tabloid consumers is the asymmetrical nature of the conflict. While Trump blusters and rages, calling Stern irrelevant and washed up, the radio host simply shrugs, secure in his position as one of the most influential voices in media, with a Siriusm contract worth hundreds of millions, and a dedicated audience of millions hanging on his every word. Stern hardly seems bothered by Trump's tantrums. Howard just laughs when he hears Trump calling him irrelevant, revealed one Stern insider. He's like, dude, I'm making more money than ever, and I don't have to kiss anyone's ass to do it. He's actually never been happier. This casual dismissal of Trump's fury only serves to enrage the former president further, creating a vicious cycle that shows no signs of abating. But let's circle back to the true victim in this testosterone-fueled battle of egos, Melania Trump, the reluctant first lady who never asked for any of this. The Slovenian-born former model has weathered storms that would break even the strongest spirit, from the Access Hollywood tape to the Stormy Daniels scandal, from the humiliation of her husband's impeachment to the chaos of his final days in office. Through it all, she has maintained a sphinx-like silence, her expression frozen somewhere between dignified restraint and barely concealed contempt. Who could forget her infamous "I really don't care, do you?" jacket worn while visiting migrant children at the border? Or the countless viral clips of her swatting away Trump's hand at official events? These weren't just fashion choices or momentary lapses. In protocol, they were screams for help from a woman trapped in a gilded cage of her own making. Stern, who has spent decades cultivating an image as a man who tells it like it is, seems uniquely positioned to expose the realities of the Trump marriage. Having observed the couple up close during their many appearances on his show, the radio host possesses insights that few others can claim. Howard saw how Donald treated her behind the scenes, claimed one former Stern show staffer. The way he would talk about her like she was a trophy, the casual disrespect, the way he would interrupt her or speak for her. Howard noticed it all, and now he's ready to talk, while Stern has yet to reveal the full extent of what he witnessed. His recent comments have been enough to send tremors through the Trump camp, with aides reportedly scrambling to prepare for whatever bombshell might come next. The timing of this renewed feud couldn't be worse for Trump, who has been working tirelessly to rehabilitate his image following the chaos of January 6th and his subsequent departure from office. With the 2024 election cycle already underway and rumors swirling about another presidential run, Trump needs unity among his base, not distractions from his colorful past. This kind of stuff hurts him, with women voters especially, noted one Republican strategist speaking on condition of anonymity. The evangelical crowd can overlook a lot, but when they hear him talking about women like pieces of meat, rating them on a scale, it makes it harder to pretend he's championing their values. As clips from Trump's Stern appearances continue to circulate on social media, campaign advisors are reportedly concerned that they could undo months of careful image rehabilitation. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this feud is what it reveals about the two men at its center. Trump and Stern are, in many ways, twin manifestations of a particularly American archetype, the outrageous showman, who says what others won't. Both build their empires on shocking audiences, pushing boundaries and cultivating larger-than-life personas. Both thrived on controversy and transformed themselves into brands that transcended their original industries, and both have undergone dramatic transformations in recent years. Trump into a political figure with aspiration of statesmanship, Stern into a more reflective, socially conscious interviewer with a less credibility. The difference, as many have observed, is that Stern seems aware of his evolution, even embracing it, while Trump remains trapped in the amber of his own ego, unable or unwilling to grow beyond the bombastic character he created decades ago. For those who have followed both men's careers, there's a delicious irony in watching Stern emerge as the more mature, thoughtful figure, once known primarily for his crude humor and objectification of women.